Oh, hi. I'm here again. I know I was here last night and you probably don't want to see me, but there again, maybe you do. I'm here because of what was said last night and basically what's been said tonight as well. I've made out about 1.5 pages as to what to say, but then I watched tonight's do, the news and whatnot, the press conference, and it's sort of gone to 3 pages, so I'll do my best to be coherent. Okay. Because of what's been said, Parliament is meeting tomorrow because they have to go through everything and debate it and vote on it. Now, the thing is, the last time Sir Desmond had a rant, he said that there should be, the government should have other experts, not that I'm an expert, they should have other experts who had the opposing views to Sage. Because then when Sage says something like, you've got to do this, blah, 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 they don't know, he wouldn't know what questions to ask. And therefore he doesn't think the government knows what questions to ask. And they should have people with opposing views to sort of say, ask these questions to sort of get a proper answer. Well, I've got a few questions I'd like them to be asked, to ask the government. And I can't do it, so really it's down to you, or up to you, whatever you want to put it, because I can't tweet and all the rest of it with the stuff. I've done my bit. Now all I can do is give it to you, and hopefully you can put it on to them. So there's some questions here that I would like you to do. The reason I can't do it is because I'm not techie enough. So right, the first question is, what's this lockdown about? Is there a mutation? Well, Valence says there's 22 changes in the genetic code of this virus. Well, if it's not being isolated, how can they know there's a genetic change? Now, I've got here, you'll probably not see it properly because it's back to front, but that is, it says there, Department of Health and Social Care, Freedom of Information Team, Department of Health and Social Care, Victoria Street, London. Okay? And they were asked specific questions. I'll read it to you. Please provide a full and accurate and complete list of records held within your office and or under your authority describing the isolation of SARS-CoV-2 virus, directly taken from a symptomatic patient of COVID-19 where the sample was not first combined with any other source of genetic material, for example, monkey kidney cells or liver cells or some that have been genetically altered, thereby eliminating contamination as a possible alternative source of sampling. Please note isolation is used in the normally understood meaning of the word, the act of separating a thing from another. I'm not referring, and hence not requesting, to isolation meaning the culture of something else, the performance of an amplification test, that's a PCR, which only detects messenger RNA or DNA, or the sequence of something. If any records match the above description are available to public elsewhere, please provide through information so that I may identify and access each record with certainty, i.e. title, authors, dates, journal, web links, etc. I remind you full, accurate and complete disclosure is required because this is under the Freedom of Information Act. Okay? And it says here, and that's the bit that's in yellow, I don't know whether you can see it or not, it's quite short, and it says, DHSC does not hold information on the isolation of SARS-CoV-2 virus. Well, so if they haven't got any information on it, it's not been isolated, has it? They also go on to say that they haven't done anything about the disease called COVID-19. So it's not been, they've not had Koch's postulates applied to it, which are 4 criteria that every disease has to pass in order to be legally, medically and scientifically proven to be and classified as a disease. So that's not been done. And with viruses, there's 2 more criteria that they can add or whatever. They've not done them either. Now, that's not the only one I've got. I've also got a copy of... Oh dear, I wish I'd got 3 hands. This is from Scotland. And it's from There we go. It's from the Directorate for COVID Public Health, and it's the Scottish Government. Okay? And that says the same. Whilst our aim is to provide information wherever possible, in this instance, the Scottish Government does not have the information you have requested. Okay. This one here is actually from my computer. This one is from Health Canada. And this one says, having completed a thorough search, we regret to inform you we are unable to locate any records responsive to your request. Now, I know that there's one from Ireland as well, from ERA, and that's on the computer. And there was one from somewhere else as well. While I'm at it, if any one of you has got a digital copy of the one from England, can you please send it to me? Because I can't locate the digital copy. I've got this printed one, but I'd like it on the computer as well. Right, okay, so to get back to what I was saying, if they haven't isolated this blessed virus, how can Balance turn around and say that there's 22 changes in its genetic code? So that's a question that Sir Desmond or somebody else could ask them tomorrow. So the next question is, why are they guarding hospitals? Now, there's been quite a number of people have gone round hospitals lately with their phones, filming empty hospitals. And one young lady actually, to stop them going in. Why have we got guards outside the hospital? What are they hiding? Well, one question is, are they actually dealing with vaccine injuries? Because Pfizer has... I think I'm back. It connected, it went off. Right, Pfizer has just dumped 62% of their stock. They've not sold shares, they've dumped 62% of their stock. Okay. Right, well, I got this today from somebody sent me a video and I watched it. And this is about the adverse reactions. There's no data on the number of injuries in the UK, although the odd ones keep popping up. This young lady who's quite used to dealing with data and spreadsheets and things, she's been onto the CDC US site, because they actually do this. And what they've done is for the first 5 days of the vaccines, they've written down how many people have been vaccinated, what adverse effects, that they're calling them health impact events, have happened, and then they've done a percentage of how many people are damaged out of the ones, vaccinated. And it works out at the end, 2.36% of those vaccinated have had health impact events, and they are written at the bottom as, and I quote, unable to perform normal daily activities, unable to work, required care from a doctor or healthcare professional. Well, we're likely to die. The percentage chance of us dying from COVID, according to the real data, is 0.01%. So are we going to have a vaccine where the danger to life and liberty and limb is 2.36%? That's another question that can be asked. But she's applied that to the figures in England. And when she did this about a week ago, there were 616,932 people who have been vaccinated. Well, if you find out what 2.36% of them is, not nice, it's 14,500 people who are unable to perform normal daily activities, etc., etc. That's not good. Not good. So, is this why the hospitals are being guarded? Because these are the people that are in there, not COVID-19 sufferers. Is this why they're changing to the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine? They are saying they're changing because it's cheaper and it's ours, and it doesn't need to be kept at minus 80 degrees. Just keep it in the fridge. But with all these vaccine injuries, I'd like to know how many vaccine injuries there are. And the MPs should be asking for an exact figure, what the percentage is and exactly how many. The other thing is this why they've invented this new dangerous mutation? right? Now, Johnson said tonight very proudly, we have vaccinated more people than Europe have. Do you know why? That's because there's no mention of Europe at all, and that is because let me find out what they're called. The European Medicines Agency, somebody very kindly sent me a link, and I've looked at their papers. They are waiting for the results to see what happens here. I'll get back to that later. Okay? So, there's nothing in Europe at all. Okay, so, next question. They keep saying follow the science. So why are they using false data to justify lockdowns? And it is false because this polymerase chain reaction process that Kary Mullis invented, it does not show a virus, it doesn't show if anybody's infectious, and it doesn't show if anybody's ill. And I've got him on video saying so, because at the time they were trying to use his test for finding HIV virus. It was quite specific, you can't. So why are they using it? This lateral flow test is the same. They're looking for a protein. And these proteins are in our bodies because we make these viruses to deal with toxins. It's the same protein. And Lisbon, the appeal court in Lisbon actually decided that this polymerase chain reaction process test was not sufficient. It certainly was not any good reason for taking away somebody's liberty, because they'd locked up 4 German tourists, wouldn't let them go home because one of them had tested positive. Well, he ordered that they were freed and allowed to go about their lawful business. So that means it's law in Portugal, because it's a court that makes law. Parliament just makes statutes. So it's an illegal test, certainly in Portugal. So again, why are they using it? They actually confessed. Parliament asked questions, and so they had to answer formally in a written statement, and it's in Hansard. And they said they admitted they do not know let me get it right. The rate of positive, negative, or positive, false negative or false positive numbers. They don't know what the rate is. And they have admitted, it's somewhere the rate is actually only about 3% correct. So, with these figures then, I did work it out later on with those things. If they've got 16,000 cases today that have got coronavirus, and you apply that principle to it, there's only 1,800, not 60,000, 1,800. These are questions that need raising. So, where else have I got to? Oh yes, when they actually made out this lockdown and said we could only have one day for Christmas, the data they were looking at was the Office of National Statistics figures, and the infection rate had dropped over several weeks. It had dropped from 1.7 to 1.1. So surely that meant they should have let us out, not locked us up again. But my question is to hear, why are they looking at this false information? Why aren't they looking at the deaths? But there again, how many of these deaths are from COVID-19, not with it, and died of something else like a heart attack or, I don't know, pneumonia, anything like that, and exactly other causes? In other words, for example, how many of them are flu? Because at the end of the summer, Mr. Hancock decided that from this autumn, they were going to combine the death numbers of flu and COVID. Why? The question, you see, why? To me, the whole thing stinks, and it's never going to end, because tonight, Whitty said, in 3 to 5 months, we might ease things off. 3 to 5 months? And that's when half the population are vaccinated? What? Valens said, the virus will continue to mutate, just like flu does. So we'll need pharmaceutical intervention, and we're going to need more and more vaccines. They'll have to change, like we have them for flu. Yeah, okay. Whitty says we'll still want more restrictions next winter. Even if it eases off in the summer, we'll still want restrictions next winter. And it will not go away, just like flu doesn't go away. We're going to have to learn to live with it. So why do we have to have pharmaceutical interventions? I'm sorry, but God gave me this body, and it's the most wondrous thing in creation. It looks after itself if I look after it. And I would far rather trust my immune system to instantly deal with things than wait for some men to work out some fancy thing that they've put together and jab it into me. So I'm sorry, this is my take on it. Oh, I shouldn't be saying this online. But never mind, this is me. You see what you get, or you get what you see. So, we're in for the long haul. This is vaccine. So I've got a question here, because I think it's all about vaccines. How many people involved are making money from vaccines? Well, Mr. Valence has got shares, loads and loads, 60-odd thousand pounds worth of shares, is it? Or £600 worth? I don't know, somebody will tell me. He's got lots of shares in pharmaceuticals and vaccines anyway. And I think he's from Imperial College. Remember that one. Who else have we got? Oh yes, Mr. Ferguson. And he's been sacked, hasn't he? But he was on television when I turned it on. They were interviewing him, and then they put the press conference on. So why is Ferguson talking? He's finished, but no, he's not. He's from Imperial College as well, and he's the one that said 500,000 people in this country would die, poof, of this thing. Yeah, you're right, Anne Parkinson. Follow the money. Somebody else thinks like me. Right, so we're back to Mr. Whitty. He belongs to the London School of Something and Tropical Medicines. Right? Mr. Johnson and Mr. Hancock have invested a lot of our money in Gavi, which is it's a worldwide institute to help everybody get vaccines. And they've invested in other companies as well. And Oxford Uni, they're the ones who are making the AstraZeneca or inventing the AstraZeneca vaccine. Well, those places I've just mentioned are all Bill Gates' money. And you can check that out. So they've all got a vested interest in vaccines. Right, let's look at the vaccines. There's no safety data on either of them, or any of them, because they're brand new kinds. They are experimental. So they've got temporary authorization. They're not licensed. And as the people, the European Medicine Agency paper says, they're watching, because temporary authorization is very different from marketing authorization. In other words, no license. So the question is, and the other thing is, Regulation 174. Now, I already had a copy of the Regulation 174, which is government written, and there's a whole load of people on there. The one I had got was the one which referred to people who were receiving the vaccine, right? There's a whole list of people that should not have this vaccine. Somebody had sent me a copy of the insert from the Pfizer one, and I actually did a post on that. I've put it up again, as to which people shouldn't. And somebody sent me the one, the Regulation 174, which is for doctors and professionals who are giving it out, right? And that's much more comprehensive than the one that we're supposed to see. Okay. Oh yes, there's no liability. Well done, Trey Sims. So question is, why are they vaccinating people who should not be? I'm one of the ones that shouldn't be, because I've got a blood problem. I bruise easily, and they're one of the people that should not have this vaccine. Anything wrong with your blood, anticoagulants, blood thinners, whatever, or you bruise easily, you shouldn't. Pregnant, blah, blah, blah. There's all these regulations that they're talking about, and they've already vaccinated half of the people over 80. they're set tonight, something like that. They shouldn't be vaccinating these people. So another question Parliament should be asking is, why are you doing this when it says in your own guidance this shouldn't be done to them? So I'm getting really cross, me. Right, so the European Medicines Agency are waiting for results of what happens here because we're guinea pigs. So that's why we have got more people vaccinated than the Europeans have. Right, so as I said, whole thing stinks. There must be 14,000 already damaged with one thing or another. Anyway, right, so what we need to do is then, or what you need to do, if you will, is get onto Twitter and the other social media things that the MPs look at on their phone, because they're going to be there in Parliament or on the board supposedly tomorrow. And we need to be telling them no lockdowns, stop the vaccinations until all questions are properly answered and debated. And that we've got, we should not be guinea pigs. This needs looking into very carefully. And they should be saying no to the lockdown and stop vaccinations, because otherwise it's never going to end. I finished now. I don't know. I've got dressed. I've been that busy all day. I've only got dressed to come on here. So anyway, right, I'm going now. Yeah, it is murder. I think it's absolutely dreadful what they're doing. I've never mentioned the Great Reset, and I've only mentioned Billy Gates once, but this is all part of it, and it's dreadful. Anyway, I'll keep all the rest of my ideas to myself. There are lots of people going on protests in various places tomorrow. A lot are going down to London. Save Our Rights organisation. I've got a list of where people are meeting. They're meeting in Sheffield as well, and I've posted that on my page. So, right, I've done my bit. It's up to you. So hopefully you can do something and show them that at least half the country are not stupid and we're not having it. This bit annoys me. I wasn't going to say this, but I've been looking to legal aspects because Lord Sumption he's retired from the Supreme Court, and he's been talking online quite a lot lately. And he did, it was a Freshfields lecture from Cambridge. And I asked about an audio typist yesterday, and the young woman that said she'd do it, she's actually found there is a copy. So I can download that, and I can look at the legalities, as he says, oh, this is unlawful. But I was also looking at our Bill of Rights. One reason that they want us to keep away from each other, to keep away from meeting in pubs or where you can have coffee and sit and chat, is they don't want any networking. Because every rebellion ever has been planned in a place where people meet to eat and drink and talk. The last one, where we threw out the Catholic King James and got his daughter and her husband from Holland, the Glorious Revolution, because there was no blood spilt, they met in a pub just north of Chesterfield, which is just a bit south of me. And the Bill of Rights came out of that. And it says in the Bill of Rights that Parliament cannot remove any of our common law. It's common law. They can't remove it. It's treason. And that's what this lot have been doing. So, the traitors. Don't get me started. I'm looking into this because we've got to get things, but that's for the sort of the long haul, this legal business. So immediate business is tomorrow. These MPs have got to be taught, if you like, educated, and they've got to ask the questions that I've asked. I know this is long. I don't know how long I've been on. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I'm going to go now because I'm sure you've got something better to do. Right, I'm going to have to go and get a cup of coffee and read all these comments that you've left me. Okay, right. Thank you for listening to me, and I look forward to the fruits of our labours. Have a good evening. Bye.